So Nick, great to see you. Cheers.
Great to see you too, John, as always.
It's been probably 15 years now, is it?
I was trying to have a think. Yeah, it's probably 15 years plus, I would have thought.
Yeah,
something like that.
and,
Yes.
it was nice to bump into you at the networking event recently.
Yeah.
And I picked up on one of the things you said, which was that you weren't fully embracing kind of camera work and social media as much as you felt you should be.
Yeah.
So we obviously came up with the idea that why not come to this lovely venue, Chilston Park, and we'll ask you a few questions on camera. And there's probably no better way to thrust yourself out there into the world of social media than go straight in with both feet. So you feeling comfortable with that?
Yeah, well, I think it's one of these things when I've looked at different things. I have been on a course before and I've been guilty of not doing some of the things that I've learned.
Right.
And often they say, look, just do it.
Just do it.
Sometimes you want to think about it, then you don't actually do it.
Yeah.
And sometimes we're going to make mistakes and you need to go along. And but if you do something, at least you've got something down and then you can learn and build on that.
And I'm on the same journey. I'm probably only 2 or 3 years into putting myself out there from a business point of view on social media. But when I compare the sort of stuff we're producing now to 3 years ago, it's worlds apart. So I think half the battle is thrust yourself into it, do it, and then you'll learn mistakes along the way. Today we've already lost a drone in a tree, so Jack will know for future reference to keep an eye on the drone rather than looking at the screen. And it's only through doing that you learn some of these things. So
definitely.
So I'm intrigued to know you've owned JDL Deliveries for probably 20 years now, is it?
22 years.
22 years.
Yeah.
And obviously, you don't seem to be able to sit still. You've then come up with what's on in Kent and what's on in Ibiza. You've also got networking with a difference, among other business ventures that I'm probably not aware of. But what is it that you think drives you to do so many different things?
Several reasons. I think if I see something and it's not there, or you think you might go somewhere and think, well, I could do that better. I'd like to do that. And sometimes you've got to rein yourself back a bit. You can't be controlling everything. But for example, with the app business, I found there wasn't an app.
Right.
I thought, well, if there wasn't one, I know that I want one. So if I want one, I'm sure there must be thousands of other people who are going to want it as well. And I know the things that I like. If I like cars and live music and fetes and fairs and comedy shows and things like that, there must be other people who do like those things as well.
Yeah.
And having it all in one simple place, I thought, why hasn't anybody done it? And a bit like Jeremy Clarkson, like, how hard can it be?
and it's true in many ways, isn't it? You do look at a lot of these businesses, you can see where they're perhaps not exploiting every opportunity and not using technology to their advantage. We're doing the same sort of thing in the estate agency world with our videos, and obviously you've got the app and all that technology that goes with it. I think when you combine that with your personality and your network and the ability to talk to lots of different people, I think you're onto a winner there. Have you got plans to scale the business at some point? Or?
Yeah, I mean, that's the good thing. Yeah, people love it. A lot of it's nice. And if I could be, I don't know, I might be in Folkestone or somewhere which isn't my neck of the woods, and you meet a stranger. Oh yeah, I use your app all the time. Yeah. And they enjoy it, and they say, what do you like about it? And I find it really easy to use. So things like that. So it's nice to meet strangers, so you're getting unsolicited feedback, if you like. So that's always good. And you say the network. We've very, very fortunate. We've got lots of good partners. Obviously, we're here now with Chilston Park. We've got many other partners like that. And they love the app. And it's good for them as well. But what I do see about it, the really good value, I say, don't look at it like a sales tool. Look at it like a networking tool.
Yeah. Because
some of the people that we have, I mean, with our conversation earlier with Tara, some of the people we know we can put in touch. And it's the much bigger picture that you can do as well. And for example, the paddleboarding lady, she started doing these trips out, and she didn't have atoll, and she thought she's going to the next level, needs that.
Yeah.
And again, I've got another one of our partners who can provide that atoll connection, so you can make things happen.
Yeah, yeah.
And,
there can't be many people that are interacting with so many business owners on a day-to-day basis as you are now. So yeah, I mean, they do say your network is your net worth.
Yeah.
It's great to have all those connections, and it keeps business sort of going, doesn't it? Having
Definitely,
those connections. Yeah.
and this is what I was saying as well. With our that's why I wanted to start doing our network meetings. I was talking about earlier. We did our first network meeting on the Kentish Lady. It
Yeah.
was a lovely evening. Instead of going home or going to the pub or wherever after work, but it's what's better to go on a nice river cruise and going down doing that way. And he actually worked really well for him. A couple of people now booked it for private bookings and things like that as
Brilliant.
well.
Wow.
So it's everyone's, and I think we got another 5 partners on board.
Oh, really?
That day as well. So
Wow.
we invited our existing partners and new potential partners.
Right.
And that's something that I found challenging to understand how people, because really it's very little money compared to what some people just get one contact and that's for the next couple of years,
Sure. Yeah.
And again, tonight after work, we're doing a go-kart race at Butmore Park, another one of our partners.
Yep.
And that's actually organised by the Harder Kent Hospice,
Right.
none of our partners. And so we're going to, but the good thing is we're having fun and raising money for charity. Basically, each team is going to have a minimum of 3 drivers, and they want to raise a minimum of £300 per team. They also get a lower price, I'm guessing, by them, but that's the difference. They make the money there. And so the money's going towards a good cause.
I'm sure there's a lot of work that goes on behind the scenes, but it sounds like it's not business; it's fun. You must enjoy what you do, mustn't you?
Yeah, definitely. I think that's part of it. You've got to be able to enjoy what you're doing. Everything. I guess at the end of the day, we all have to work for a living.
Yeah.
But if you can have fun by doing it and and if you can make a difference in small ways for other people.
Yeah.
Because funny enough, we do work with a few charities as well.
Okay.
And they found it really good. So, it can be such a diverse range, from like Kenwood Trust is another good charity, and I'm happy to support them.
Yeah.
Because they're a local charity, and you can see it is making a difference. And people go there for a nice day. They've got a lovely little cafe there.
Right.
You go alpaca walking.
I've done that before, actually. Yeah,
there you
good fun.
go. There you go. They do frisbee golf as well and archery. And they've had art exhibitions on there and all different things like that. And they want to spread the word. Another one of contacts I put in contact with actually is a filmmaker. They're actually going to make a film.
I've seen about that, about the Kenwood Trust, and
yeah,
is that right? Yeah.
So I put the film people in contact with those people and
Nice.
everything. So, but you would never have thought, how does that come up? But yeah, so it's all about connections sometimes.
Definitely.
And I wondered if we might want to rename it, because this is something I'm not going to say doing favours. I'm happy to introduce people and make things work, but there's a lot of value there for lots of people.
I mean, there is an argument that the more you help lubricate those connections, the more we naturally come back to you anyway, in a business sense, whether it's through your delivery courier business or what's on in Kent. I imagine they all complement each other in a way. But have you got plans to scale, to start other businesses, or would you rather scale one or some of the existing businesses, or is that all under wraps?
Well, yeah, I don't say my time of life. I shouldn't be saying that, but I don't really have any plans. If I want to go to, the Grand Prix, or want nice cars and want to do things like that,
You've got to put in the work.
You got to put in the work to get that and everything.
And what sort of team have you built around you to support you in the businesses?
Yeah, I've got good teams. I mean, for example, on the JDL side, I've got some good guys there who run the operation.
Yeah.
And then we've now got, our business changed so much actually, up until COVID, it went crazy busy.
Yeah.
And I've seen the business change so many times over the years. I mean, when I first started the delivery business, it's small items. And then the way that email grew and the internet grew, so many more things are being done online. So what used to rush around on motorbikes and things like that, you didn't have now you get the bikes that are delivering food and things like that.
Yeah.
We've been asked to go into that market, but I've sort of chosen not to go down that route. Now a lot of what we do on the delivery side is the larger items. We do like with flatbed vehicles and curtain sides and tellers, and we do hired lorries as well. So a lot of work goes on that side.
There might be a future business opportunity for you, because I understand that in the future a lot of deliveries might be made by drone, actually. And I'm pretty sure that Amazon are in talks with the Civil Aviation Authority to buy a section of airspace so that they can operate their deliveries through drone. I'd imagine that's probably the future of many deliveries. Certainly, I know out in the Orkney Islands and places like that, they use it for organ or blood transplants and things where they need to get medical supplies out quickly. But you can quite feasibly see it in cities where there's loads of traffic and congestion. The drone can just fly up and deliver it to a tower block somewhere. So yeah, it's an exciting time to be in that space, especially when you've got a son that's a fully fledged drone pilot now. He's had his first accident, and that's Jack's shaking his head at me now. But yeah, that's there's definitely a growing market for that kind of thing. Obviously, we've been up flying the drone today, having a play with it, and sort of getting some footage. And the everyday person now can create something that looks as though it's been done on, in a studio somewhere. So So yeah, it's crazy when you think about it. So am I right in thinking that you've flown on Concorde?
I have actually. Yeah.
I saw that on your social media.
It's
something I always wanted to do myself, and they stopped flying before I got the opportunity. So,
right.
What was it like?
I was very lucky, very, very lucky. Well, it's something I sort of work towards, if you like, all these things. But because, of course, as you say, you can't do it now. And I always thought the Concorde would be superseded by something else, and it hasn't yet.
Right.
But yeah, we actually flew from Manston Airport. And I mean, the whole experience is something else. The way they look after you and make sure they know it's a very special occasion for you and everything. The takeoff, I think you hit up to 240 miles an hour. On takeoff. The acceleration is something else. We flew out over the Bay of Biscay.
Right.
And the particular pilot we had that day, he had actually flown F-111 jets. He was telling us and everything.
Yeah.
And then when he got out, he was actually showing us some of the things that he could do, because it was a pleasure flight. We weren't on a scheduled trip to New York or something. It was a so-called pleasure flight. And he was showing, so when you got the mid-air, I think we were cruising first of all about 550, 600 miles an hour. I'll show you now. It can accelerate and take off.
Did you break the sound barrier?
No, we didn't. I think where we were, we weren't allowed to at that point. I think because there's certain rules where you can and can't do it and everything. And then when we coming in for landing as well after our trip, the way the afterburners kick in,
right,
it's just such a noise and a pull and everything. It's just truly,
I'm very jealous.
I know a lot of people for flying, they can get nervous, and especially landing can be very nervous about. But this is just totally exhilarating. The feel of that. And I remember the stewardess as well. She actually gave us a bottle of champagne as well. She goes, "Put that in your bag, take that."
Oh, really?
An extra
nice.
one as well. So
wow.
Yeah, it made it. Yeah, it was great.
Hopefully they do bring back another. I think they're talking about a new supersonic aircraft. I can't remember who is thinking about making it. I'm guessing one of the American companies, but it's definitely on my bucket list of things to do. I mean, you've travelled countless car trips with your various vehicles, haven't you, over the years? Have you got anything else on your bucket list that you want to achieve?
Well, funny enough, that was always my dream car, to get the McLaren MP412C, because that was the first. Wasn't the very first road car McLaren made. That was the F1 that they made, but the first sort of, not quite mass production, but the first production car that they did, and with all the the wizardry that it has on it. Well, the active suspension, the aero, and all sorts of things like that, and still it's ahead of its time. With compared with so many cars. I mean, it's not many cars 0 to 60 in less than 3 seconds, and over 200 miles an hour. It's
have you ever seen 200 miles an hour plus or not? Or got close to it?
Funny, well, I've been to the driving on the autobahns in Germany, and I went up to just under 190.
Wow!
But then you get a car pull out in front of you, so you have to slow down. So you have to have your wits about you.
Yeah, you have to be looking miles ahead at that stage.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
So I was very fortunate, and it wasn't just for me as well. At the time, my dad, he wasn't well, and it took a long time to get that car waiting. Even I think I put the deposit on it in November, but I didn't take delivery of it until the February.
Right.
And I wondered whether I was ever going to get it. Because we had COVID, there was a backlog of trying to get parts through and different things like that.
Yep.
It took a long time. And unfortunately, this time my dad didn't have one of the
No.
things I wanted him to see
To
it.
see
Do you know
you
what I mean?
achieve it.
Yeah. And it did anyway. Fortunately, I got it the day after he came out of hospital, so
Right.
that was good. So I took him out in the car. He was still in his pajamas and dressing gown.
Oh, really? Wow.
But yeah, so that was one of my main achievements, is
Yeah.
getting to take him out
I
in
bet he
that,
loved
really.
seeing that, didn't he? So, yeah.
And he said that was my best car so far. So far. I thought,
Ever the
what?
optimist, then. Yeah,
That's it.
I like it.
Yeah, where'd you go from here?
Mm.
But yeah, we'll see. No, so but I really do appreciate a lot of my blessings. I do know that I'm very, very lucky in a lot of
Yeah.
things. And
what do you think drives you then? You mentioned your dad. Is
yeah.
it looking for his approval? Is it obviously your son? Is it just a natural instinct in you to just constantly be driving forward? What is it that
Yeah, I
motivates you?
think
Or is it the shiny things and the cars? Yeah.
yeah. I don't want to say it's all money material things. I mean, they're nice, and I do like. I think I remember when I first started. I worked for other delivery companies, and I had a lot of success with them. And I went from a job that I absolutely loved to a job that I hated.
Right.
And sometimes because I had a very good job to say, and I reported direct to the MD, and we made things happen, and we grew that company grew it from like 100 couriers to over 400 couriers. So
Wow.
we grew it fourfold.
Yep.
But towards the latter part of it, they brought in with the growth, you bring in other directors and so forth, and they brought in someone who suddenly became my boss. And
Right.
listen, I'm probably not very good at having bosses.
I think I'm pretty much unemployable now, to be honest. After being self-employed for nearly 20 years, I would really struggle to work for somebody else unless I was completely aligned with them in every in every way. I think the longer you work for yourself, the more you just want to go with your own instincts and gut reactions and things. And having somebody telling you what to do is
Yeah,
possibly a bit tricky, isn't it,
yeah.
at this stage? But
It it
yeah,
can be, but I think a lot of it is if you've got an understanding of things. I mean, I've helped other people out on other things, and because I think if you're a business owner, you understand, and I like to think, if we came to work with each other in certain ways because we've both done it
yeah,
ourselves, so
yeah,
we'd have an understanding on what
definitely.
to do and what not to do.
Mm.
And I think that's one of I can't get my head around with certain things that often I would work in London. I'd be leaving at 6:30 in the morning and then getting home at 9 at night sometimes,
Yeah,
and you've got to put that commitment in
yeah.
first of all, whatever. Where other people now,
5 o'clock.
it doesn't matter if the building's on fire or something needs to be done. Doesn't matter. It's going home today.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. I mean,
and that's the difference.
at the minute, with my sort of side of things, I'm working pretty much 6 days a week, work editing videos and bits into the evening. But I think when you're doing something that you enjoy, it doesn't feel like work. It doesn't feel like you're doing it for somebody else. You're just trying to build your own dream and hopefully set yourself up for retirement. Is the plan.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, what would you, if you could go back in time now with all the knowledge that you've accumulated over the years of business, is there anything you think you'd do differently, in terms of your career path or setting up your business earlier? Would you change anything if you know what
Yeah,
you know
there's
now?
probably lots of things you could do sooner. I mean, for example, I did have I knew of people who were working creating the Bitcoin, and the embryonic idea back 28 years ago.
Yeah, wow. You could make some money if you
Yeah,
got
so
in big
yeah,
on that. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
And there's been a few other opportunities like that. And I can remember as well saying to my ops director at the time, that's in the delivery business, I said, phones, they're going to be next thing.
right.
And he said, no, I don't think phones are going to take off, really. And at that time, he was actually worth 26 million.
Wow.
And that's when 26 million was a lot of money.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's
So
still,
if it,
I'm joking,
if
I
it
don't know
if
what
it'd
that
gone
money, yeah.
in big on
Yeah,
on that, it would have
yeah.
made a fortune. Yeah,
Yeah. So
um,
you do see different opportunities as you go along and everything as
yeah.
well. But yeah, I think there's other things that we think, yeah, well, I could have done this, I could have done that. But then again, um, no, I don't really regret
No.
certain things. It is what it is, and I'm never going to be a Richard Branson or
Well,
whatever.
I'd see you as the Kent's answer to Richard Branson, with all your adventures and fingers in different pies and the connections and the bringing fun to the business side of things. I think I see a little sprinkling of his personality in you there, to be honest.
Funny enough,
Um,
that was one of my New Year's resolutions one year. That was to read a book a month.
right.
Because I don't know, I'm very guilty of not reading enough books, and the
Hmm.
only time I sort of seem to read is either on an aeroplane, and that's not all the time, or by a pool. I just don't. I have to read terms and conditions and
Yeah.
stuff you don't want to read. You have to read those things, but I just don't get the time for normal reading anyway. But one year, my New Year's resolution was to read a book a month.
Right.
And I did that apart from I read Richard Branson's first book, Losing My Virginity.
Yeah.
Which have you
Read
read
that
that one?
many years ago. Yeah.
Okay, it's
Yeah.
quite a thick book, isn't
Yeah.
it? But really good. I really enjoyed that. But I class that as two books, really.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
So,
it's
so
a double sized
I
book,
read
isn't it?
11 books over the year on that side, so I got through them.
Oh, well done.
So I just about sort
Yeah.
of, yeah,
See,
achieved
the
that one.
crazy thing is, talking about technology, is they now say that with Chat GPT or whatever modern language model software, you can ask it to summarize a book for you in 1,000 words, and it will take all the key points of that book, and you can effectively read the summary of that book in one really small digestible chunk.
Yeah.
So when I'm looking forward now to obviously your son's future and my son who's 5, his future, you just can't comprehend how technology is going to be so integral in their lives, and how we might read War and Peace and it takes us a year to do so, and they can digest the key chunks of it. I mean, it might be an abbreviated version of it, but you can start to see the use of that and how much more productive you can be with things like ChatGPT, where what would have taken you 10 times as long, you can get the key points out of it. Because most books tend to have a couple of threads, a couple of running themes, and a lot of it is then just fluff to sort of fill out the book and things. So yeah, it's crazy what you can ask it to do these days. So.
It is absolutely, and I must admit, yeah, I'm guilty of not using that. I just don't. I personally don't use it at all. I've got other colleagues who do use it for some things, and I know
Yeah.
you can get a lot of shortcuts. And where before the old-fashioned thing, you might write a blog, the old-fashioned way, but they
Yeah.
can just get a blog to like spiel it out in a minute or two.
Yeah, I think
such a,
I think it's a useful tool, not something you could ever solely rely on at this stage.
mm.
But for me, it feels like we've had the mobile phones, we've had the crypto. I think this could be the next thing, that if you embrace that into your business early and you master it, again, make your mistakes early and really start to learn what its capabilities are. Then from a time saving point of view, I think it's got so much potential.
Well, this is something I was really interested. It's great to see you and see your success and everything as well. But I know the way that you're embracing technology as well, and I do it, but but other people are doing it for me.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I know it's there, and I know, and that's the thing with the back on say on the delivery business. You can't be an expert in everything, but have a general understanding of all the different things.
I think most people, and even Richard Branson would probably say the same, is that you stick to what you're good at. He's good at PR. He's good at being the face of the business, getting the brand out there with all these outlandish acts that get free publicity. He's not the man that's. I think he was the one that didn't know what gross difference between net profit and gross profit and things. So and it's crazy to think it, but actually as long as you know what your strengths are and you know how you can backfill your weaknesses, I think that's the key in business, really. So
I get that. And another thing, for example, TikTok, the way that TikTok's there, and apparently I heard, I don't know if you've heard this one, that apparently TikTok was searched more than Google is.
It doesn't surprise me. I was speaking to somebody the other day, and they said they get all of their information. They were a Gen Z, I think, so they were a younger generation, but they were saying they rely on social media for honest information. Well, I don't personally think it's all completely truthful what's out there, because it's a bit like the Wild West, not really regulated. But this generation coming up behind me now, you can really see their reliance on it, and how BBC News is probably not as trusted as an influencer on TikTok for them. So, I mean, I was always reluctant because of the sort of China spying side of things, but now you see big organisations like the BBC on there. A lot of the big name presenters use it, and I just think I think it was one of the most downloaded apps in the world at one point, might still be. So I think, again, adopt it early, get on there and get your name out there. I mean, we're sort of early stages, but it's constantly growing, the following on there. And you can put a video out and get 10,000 views without too much difficulty.
Yeah.
Whereas you couldn't do that on any other platform, Facebook and Instagram. You'd have to pay to get that sort of audience. So I would say embrace it across your businesses.
Yeah, no, absolutely. No, I know that, and that's yeah, we do need to be doing more of that. We are doing. And when I've just had a little play myself, and put something on, yeah, and I've got 4,000 views, something or whatever, and it's amazing. Yeah,
the risk is don't get addicted to it, because you see so many people now glued to their phone, walking along the street, literally watching videos on TikTok or whatever, and it's quite addictive. Yeah, getting run over. So yeah. Well, yeah. Thank you very much for that. I mean, it's been great day. We've had the weather for it, haven't we?
Absolutely. We're so fortunate. That's it. We're planning it, and it's good that we've made a plan and we've stuck to it, and we've done it. Yeah.